Good afternoon. Today is June the 10th, 2020. This is the Service Hero Show. 365 days of awesome. Celebrate success through service. My name is Tamara Hunter. We have a nominated service hero today, nominated by a very good friend of our show, Andrea Adams Miller. And let me tell you, I really am excited about this guest. Yes, I live in the land and I've grown up in the area of magic, the Magic Kingdom. Many people know Disney. Many people know of Disneyland. I actually have a family story about it. So, it's like near and dear to my heart. However, I worked around the Disneyland in Orange County. Yes, Anaheim. We all know that place. And I grew up around it. I grew up going there every year. I grew up in the Disney experience and loved it. Yes, then I raised my kids in it so much. And now to have one of the men that was involved and has been involved in creating the Disney experience, it is an honor to have our service hero today, John. Is it Formica? How do I say that? Formica.
Just like the countertop.
Formica. Okay. Like the countertop. Nothing like the countertop, I bet you anything. However, with that said, I just want to say thank you for being with us today and sharing this time, because right now, June the 10th, 2020, so many things are happening. And yet we need a dose of whistle while you work. We need a dose of magic. And we're going to have that today with you. So welcome.
Thank you very much, Tamara. I'm honored to be here, excited, and heard all the great things of what you do as well. And anything I can do to help, let's bring on some magic.
I love it. Love it. In fact, I'm going to bring on and recognize those that are sharing the magical experience with us. We have one of our senior ambassadors from the nonprofit that I run, and Sherry McQueen, very happy you're with us. We have the ambassador of the chat, Helene Wilson, also one of my buddies. We do have Andrea Adams Miller, the woman that nominated you of the Red Carpet Experience or Connection and Keep Smiling Movement. Glad you're with us. And I'd love to remind all of you, we'd love to hear and see hashtag live, hashtag replay. We have others joining us right now. I want to say welcome to you all. And as we go into this, I would love to really hear from you what it was. And so let's lay the magical carpet down and look at where it was that you helped to make these experiences happen. Because we all who have gone to Disney, we know that there's always been more than just the rides. Mm-hmm. Right? It's an experience. And you were very involved in that experience. So yeah. What is it that you did?
So Tamara, my background is I spent over 30 years managing in hotels and resorts around the country. And I was just grateful and very fortunate to be asked to work for Disney back in the mid 80s when Disney was just about booming as regards to the Walt Disney World Resort and the Disney company in general. So when I absolutely took on that responsibility and honored that I could join the company. And when I got there in the mid 80s, we had 4 hotels and a campground, but there were 16 brand new hotels on the drawing board. And my job was to open up each new hotel, work on hiring the staff, train the staff, but more importantly, create an experience at each Disney hotel that would differentiate Disney hotels from everyone else. So I got to open up the Grand Floridian Beach Resort, their 5-star hotel. I managed the Contemporary Hotel, one of the originals. I managed and opened up the Yacht and Beach Hotel, Fort Wilderness, Disney Inn, and a whole host of others, and had great success. And it wasn't because I was a great manager okay, I guess I was all right, but I owe it to the system. I owe it to the structure that Disney has created, the culture that they do and continue to do each and every day. And I was very fortunate to be a sponge of that culture. And now, since 2006, I've been traveling the world, speaking and training and doing coaching, sharing Disney's model and their success. That if Disney ran your business or organization, what would it look like? I'll show you exactly how that would look like. And because their model works, and it's not just about service anymore, Tamara, it's about the experience. And Disney gives us that great experience, don't they?
Oh, absolutely. You know, and to think, I always think about this too, that it started with a mouse. It started with not only a mouse, but a man that believed in what it is that his vision was. And we need that more than ever right now, John, I believe. And, you know, today, 2020, don't you agree with that?
Absolutely. You know, I was a big, huge admirer of Walt Disney, even way before I became part of the Disney company for many years. And I just loved his philosophy. And, you know, he has a great saying, if you dream it, you can do it. And it basically meant that you have to visualize the success that you want. You have to visualize the environment. You have to visualize the positivity of, even in the challenging situation of the pandemic that we're looking at right now, we have to look at it. What can we learn from this? What can we utilize and think positively out of it? Many of us, right, it's spending more time with our family, right, that we've never been able to do before. I know me personally, I do over 130 live workshops, keynotes around the world. And now I've had to go to technology to help me. Well, I've become better at that. I'm not an expert by any means. I'm still high touch, not high tech, but I've gotten better at it. So we have to look at the positives. And Walt was a big visionary. He could see what he wanted to achieve, and then surrounded himself with great people and you know, forged forward to make sure those things are happening. So I'm always a big believer that it starts with that dream, and you can have anything you want, but you first have to visualize what you want and get there.
I absolutely agree with you 100%. In fact, I am. It is absolutely not a coincidence or anything but truly meant to be that you're here today. I believe that 100% because actually I've had this conversation with quite a few people that everybody agrees right now we're in a time where anything and all things are possible in the rebuild, if you say, you know, or where things are shifting. You hear that a lot. Mm-hmm. And I actually look, I'm a student of history. I love history, and I have studied Walt Disney. It's not an accident. You know, you study those people, especially in my case, I love the, if you will, underdog or undermouse kind of stories, you know, where they don't give up. They see it. They know it. They're going to just make it happen. And Walt Disney could have given up so many different times. His period of time that he lived in, and he, you know, you look at Snow White was such a big breaking point for him. Before that, the mouse, you know, and Steamboat Willie and just all of that period of time. And if he would have said, you know, I can't do that because, you know, the world's in an upside down, we're in a depression, we're in this, we're in that, we're, you know, there's all of these quote unquote reasons that so many would say, oh no, this isn't the time for that. Well, there was a no here, there was a no there, and a no, and no, and no, and no, and then yes. Absolutely. And then you look at a worldwide organization that absolutely does it right. And living in the Southern California area and being a recruiter during that time, I will say it was really interesting when I would hear things like, yeah, you can't wear eye makeup. You have to wear pearls that, or, you know, little this or that, you know, to be an ambassador, you know, or a cast member. And a cast member is maybe someone that has, you know, is picking up garbage. And I'm thinking that is genius.
Yeah.
Genius. Everybody is important.
Yeah, and and everybody believes in the purpose. Walt created an incredible purpose. It's pretty simple, is make people happy. And so the culture begins with no matter what job you are applying for, whatever job you're trying to get or you're going to be hired for, the sole reason why you're there, the sole reason why Disney hires you is to make people happy. And if you don't want to make people happy, well, then it's not the right culture for you. And it's kind of interesting. Before you even fill out an application, you watch your video, and in the video, they tell you that you're going to work when other people play, and you're going to work weekends, and you're going to work holidays, and the grooming guidelines and the dressing guidelines, appearance guidelines are so incredibly difficult, and the expectations are extremely high, and you have to pick up trash. They really try to let you know the real picture. But you know what happens? About 15%, Tamara, of people walk out the door and don't want to work there. And that's okay. It doesn't mean they're bad people by any means.
No.
But it means that they're not a good fit. And what I share with my clients is that you have to make sure you have the right people in your organization. But most of all, do those people know what your purpose is? Many employees, there's a disconnect. They think the owner just wants to make money. Well, yeah, all right, sure, we all want to do that, but there's got to be the bigger driving purpose that will engage our staff to be excited to do what they do. And those that want to do it will come on board. And those that don't, well, it's time to move on.
Right. Again, this is so relevant for today because of the fact that, I had a discussion just recently with someone that was doing this, kind of reevaluating, because you're talking about it's time to spend time with our family. It's time to learn technology. There's all these wonderful things that we can do right now. And there are many that right now are looking at, okay, maybe I need to look at my funnel, even of what it is that I'm doing. And have I been trying to catch everyone, or have I been really figuring it out? And so that the right people, the right, vision and the right message, and like you said, to serve those that are the customer, that we're finding those people that want to buy in and be a part of it. Because I know that there were so many people, because again, I live in the Southern California region. I know a lot of people that worked for Disney. Mm-hmm. And if they worked there, and not only worked there, they loved working there. There was like no, oh yeah, I worked there. No, I have an importance. I love being a part of the movement, the culture, the experience. And right now, with so many people that are, there's quite a few people that are looking at changing what it is that they're doing. Again, the shift. And it might be that they might not like where they are, and I would love to hear some questions from you. Like if you were in front of a company and you're saying, do you really have the right people working for you? What are some of the questions that would, in a way, have them jump out of the funnel? Say, okay, I don't want to be a part of this. It's not the right fit, because isn't it better to figure that out now than put all the money into an employee, or figure it out because you're thinking you're going to start this, but it really isn't a good match for you? What are some of those questions that someone should be asking?
Absolutely. And now there's a great time, as you said, to sort of reflect not only individually, but also on your business. And what I've been doing, which has been keeping me extremely busy with my clients and people that have asked me to help them, is now you're getting a second chance to reboot your business. You're getting a second chance that if you didn't like the way your business was run, you're not happy that you're not getting a lot of referrals, or your people aren't talking about you, or you haven't made the money that you want to do. What is it about your business that wasn't working? So now you have a chance to create a whole nother experience, different than you did before. And I'm encouraging people that, now's the time to do that, because they didn't see you for a couple of months, and now all of a sudden you come on board. What better than the words, wow, they're different, they're better, right? And so, So it goes to say, with our people, we might be bringing our staff back as businesses opening up around the country, but unfortunately, they're not going to be opening up with a large staff, so they're going to reduce their staff. So now's the time to get your best people, those that really their heart's in it. Those are the ones that you want in your business. They'll help you, and don't ask the others to come back. And again, I'm not here to be bad, give people bad news, but if they didn't really want to be there in the first place, you're really doing them a good service by letting them find a job that they like. And like you said, as an individual, look at your own, what you're doing. Is this, maybe you want to do more philanthropy, maybe you want to do more nonprofit, maybe you want to give back. Maybe I've had a lot of my clients that they're giving back to the community because there's no other thing to do, but yet it's goodwill that they've never done before, and now they're getting a reputation of they cared, right? They gave away free food or merchandise, or I have a sign company that gave all the businesses were open for takeout, gave them free signage so they can do that, right? It's time to make yourself feel good, not worry about where's the money going to come from, but it will pay dividends because it's from your heart, and people know whether it's from your heart or not, don't they?
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. You don't even have to say it. They know it, because there is a different, if you will, energy, a different, as some people would say, frequency, that you're on a whole different plane, when it comes from the heart. Again, it goes back to even the Disney experience. You go into a Disney park and it really seriously just feels different. Now, that's not by accident. I know that. That is by design. However, that is where, I was having so much fun learning about you and finding different, images and stuff. And when I saw one that you saw had a lot of your employees, like they're all wearing hats and, and they're on stairs, and you can see in their faces that they're just happy to be a part of the club, if you will, and those are the people. If you're going to be bringing back employees, those are the ones you want. If you're a business owner, and of course I have a nonprofit, and so when I'm speaking, I talk about the public and the profit and for nonprofit, the common thread that many call cause marketing, that they take on a cause, they go out there, they serve. And right now, more than ever, you are so right. We need those companies stepping up and saying, yes, I'm here to serve. Yes, I can do this. Yes. It's like here, all the that you can just have it happen in your life. These things, these adversaries, this trouble, these obstacles, they can strengthen us. Those are his words there, and the secrets of creating a Disney-like culture and empire in any business, you're speaking to that right now. And I love the sign company example. We have so many, what state are you in, just to ask?
I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina.
You're in, okay, North Carolina. Okay. Not sure what your situation, where you are in all the phasing back into life. I'm in Southern California. So you're in two. Okay. Southern California, we are just starting to get some of our stuff back, but some areas are getting to go a little quicker than others, and it's almost like a daily, what is it today kind of situation. And many of us are in that. The fact, if we just, when we can just look at something straight in the face and say, okay, we've had some problems. Okay, there's been a few obstacles. Okay, there's been a little adversity. There's been a little bit of stress. However, it strengthened Walt Disney. Mm-hmm. It can strengthen it, and so that then there becomes a culture and then an empire to then have a Disney-like experience. And That right there, if there's not mic drop, there you go, inspiration, right?
Well,
It could be anybody.
absolutely. When I share my program, it's kind of a funny statement. I start off, if Disney would run your business, what would that look like? I tell people, I plant the picture, right? Visualize that Disney just wrote the check and they're taking over. What would that look like? Now, I'm not saying Disney would do a better job in everybody's business and industry because the experts are out there. But would things be different? And the answer I always get from people saying, yeah, well, then I say, well, what would be different? And they go, oh, everybody would be happy, or there'd be friendly people working there, or there'd be a bunch of characters floating around, or whatever it might be. And I say, okay, I get all that. But let's look at what Disney's known for. Is Disney known for quality? And the answer is yes. Is Disney known for attention to detail? And the answer is yes. Is Disney known for cleanliness? And the answer is yes. Is Disney known for having friendly, welcoming people? And the answer is yes. Okay, so let me ask this question. If Disney's known for all those things, shouldn't every business be known for those things? And the problem is they're not. And the reason why they're not is because, Tamara, most people will focus on the customer service, which I think is wrong. That will just make you average. I want you to focus on the customer experience because that is more emotionally engaging. I get fired up about that. But just because you answer the phone, I'm not excited about that. I expect someone to answer a phone. But the way the person answered the phone or the way I was greeted when I walked in, and I've been telling people now more than ever during the pandemic, as we bring back our businesses, it's not an excuse to have bad service. It's not an excuse to say, well, we're only opening up 25% or we've been doom and gloom and our business, we lost a lot. Your customers don't want to hear that, right? They want to get away from it. So when you come in and you say, we are so excited that you're here. We're glad you're safe. We're glad you're here. What can we do to help you? When you come in with that type of attitude, why wouldn't I want to do business with you? But yet some businesses, unfortunately, don't get it. They're doom and gloom. And, I tell people at Disney, when we worked at Disney, and I worked there, it was the most difficult job I ever had in my entire career. I mean, stress, the volume, the attention to details, the expectations. But I always used to make sure my teams had fun because if your heart's not in it, you're not going to do a great job. And Walt used to say that it takes a happy crew to produce a happy show, right? So you got to enjoy what you're doing, at least while you're on stage. When you go home and you can kick the wall, whatever you want. You have to enjoy it because it's all part of that experience. And, and the companies that get it, and those companies are out there, it's not that they have the best product. It's not even that they have the best price, but they provide the greatest experience and they get me. They get me all the time.
Right. And absolutely. Because you can think about it. I mean, I would love to even, let's make this interactive. I would love that, guys. If you want to just even throw out some companies that other than Disney, that when you go there, you have a great experience. We have some international people here right now, so it would be really interesting to see what they would say. I would love that, and thank you for sharing when you do. And as I'm thinking about what you're saying right now, it's absolutely true because. When you put a smile on your face, when you decide to show up happy, when you decide that it is important that person has that great experience. And I would think now what's coming to me too is that there are going to be so many more smiles because they're working again, because a lot of people took the work experience for granted, this whole whistle while you work thing, it was like that, how many times was there the joke, oh, it's Monday, oh, but really when you do this, when you surround yourself with the people who make you a better person, and like those 7 dwarfs, and if anybody doesn't understand the significance of the 7 dwarfs, that is a very significant movie in Walt's history, right?
Absolutely. And we're all different. We're all unique. We're all, sometimes we're happy, sometimes we're sad, sometimes we're bashful. We're all different, but we all come together for a common purpose, and that is to serve others. And in most businesses, We're there to serve. And when you think about the smiling, you think about surround yourself with people that make you better. We all want to do business with people we like. We all want to hang around people we like. We all want to work with people we like. Well, how do we get to like them? Well, I use a scenario as you need to get to know them and spend some time being interested, not just interesting, right? Ask those questions. So how are you today? What can I do to help you today? What problem do you need solved? Are you a little down under the weather? When you become interested, people will connect with you.
Right.
But when you're just there telling how great you are or how great your product and services are, I get lost, because it's like, yeah, whatever. But when you make it personal, now I know you care.
Right.
And that's where the significance begins.
Let me ask you this, because we have a whole new element that wasn't around when Walt Disney, was running things. And you referenced it already. We've been living in it the last few months, and that is the world of digital, media, the social piece of it. And it's interesting because sometimes there isn't that interaction because you're posting something, and many times you're trying to post either something you're feeling, either you're trying to put yourself in the best light, or you're being real and raw or intentional, whatever it may be, right? And so now you've got a lot of people that are maybe even starting to, oh, that's the one that was complaining a lot during this. Oh, that, and how do we move beyond that? Because we're going to need to, because there may be even some that were distanced and they're going to be coming back together. And we've got to, and it might be that the business owner is going to say, or, maybe even business partners, who knows what the mix is, but like, okay, now I maybe leave it at the door or whatever it may be, or bring in that mojo with you, whatever. But we've got a whole new element and a whole new mix. And
That's
how
right.
do you navigate through that now?
Well, like I said, it's a great opportunity to restart your business. And when I do leadership workshops, one of the first questions I ask is the audience of leaders, and they could be CEOs to frontline first-time managers. It doesn't make a difference. I always ask them, how many of you have people out there that you tolerate? And the hands go up, right? And then I go, how many of you feel like babysitters? And the hands go up. Well, with all due respect, that's a you problem as far as a leadership. That's not an employee problem, because you're always going to get the performance that you're willing to tolerate. Right. And so many business owners and managers, they want to be everybody's friend. And I get it. We don't want to create a hostile environment at work, but when's the last time we sat down one-on-one with our staff and said, are you okay? Is this a good fit? Is there some other place? Is there another position? We have to have those good conversations with them, because we're really benefiting everybody, not only our business, but we're benefiting the employee, and we're benefiting ourselves from being the stress and the craziness that we have to go home and, vent to our family members how bad we have employees, and yet we don't do anything about it. So we have to kind of regroup and look at that as an opportunity to see who are the people. And it's kind of interesting when you talk about this Zoom technology and, stay at home and working from home. I try to help companies realize that you can still have fun, you can still do a lot of things, and you can still touch people even though you're apart, right? And a lot of it is, I've seen companies that just based on Zoom alone, when you have those multiple boxes everywhere, look who's enthused and excited to see everybody and who's sitting there, doom and gloom. Well, that's an easy fix right there. I know that Susie or Bob or Billy, I'm going to have conversations with them, because if you're not excited to finally see some of your coworkers and colleagues, how excited are you going to be when the time comes to see our customers, right? And so we try, but it also gives us an opportunity how many times we've had Zoom programs and, we had kids in the background or dogs barking or whatever it was. And, it gotta gives us a chance to look at people's personal lives in a way we go, hey, he or she is human, right? We're not some stuffy boss or owner. they have a life just like we do. Look, their kitchen is just as messy as mine, or whatever it might be. And it kind of creates this camaraderie that we're all in this together. And so again, if you can look at it as it's a detriment that the fact that we're apart, but we could also look at it as a positive that we're looking at ways to connect even more powerful now than we've ever done before.
And some of our leadership within the nonprofit that we serve those. And so I just want to recognize the fact that there are some that are sharing, that they're on their cancer journey right now. And that's the nonprofit that we support. And so, Mandy, thank you for sharing. And our thoughts are with you right now. And one of our leaders is saying, John, you have such great information. Love it. Absolutely. And what I'm thinking of while you're sharing all of this is that, the bottom line is people want people to be successful. I don't think there's any business person out there that is in the C-suites that would say, oh yeah, I want to build a business that my employees and the people that work for me are unhappy, and I want them to come to work and I want it to be a big huge Eeyore cloud over them, and it feels as though it's raining, it looks like rain, or any of that kind of stuff. No, they want the Tiggers to be, joyfully jumping around and, all that neat stuff, right? And do the whistle while you work and be the happies out there. And, and that's what they want. And if you're not setting the tone, creating that environment, that business culture, then that's where right now, this is a really great place to say, whoa, wait a minute. I looked at that Zoom and 80% of them had the grumpy faces. What was that about? And the other 20 were sleepy. Where was the happy? I don't know. And it's like, okay, let's take the mirror out and look at ourselves. And this is an incredible time to say, I forgive. Let's start over. We're not going to take that with us going forward. We can make amends. We can change the culture. There is nothing out there that is beyond fixing.
That's right. Absolutely, Tamara. I want to share something with you and the audience. In my workshops and my programs, I use an example of this. Are you a thermometer or are you a thermostat? Right? And so right here is the thermometer, right? And if I ask you what a thermometer does, it measures the temperature. So if I wave it in my room or your office or whatever it is, your company, your business, your team, whatever it is, your nonprofit operates at a certain temperature. I don't know what it is, but it's going to operate at a certain temperature. Some is good, some are engaging, some are doom and gloom, some are accountable, some are friendlier, whatever it might be, right? But when you go into a room or you go into a business, it is at a certain temperature, but there's something about a thermometer and it just tells you what the temperature is, but you can't do anything about it, right? So instead of being a thermometer, I want everybody to be a thermostat, because a thermostat can change the temperature. And as you said so eloquently, you can change the temperature. You can come to work with a better attitude or a more positive attitude. You can come in with a smile. You can come in with the opportunities to get better and learn and have your staff engaged and give everybody. You can do that. All you have to do is be the thermostat. And it's not that difficult. Everybody's got a thermostat in their mind and in their heart. And you can do that just by being that thermostat. So I encourage people, don't be the thermometer, be the thermostat.
There you go. I mean, I love it. And, and here's the image that I was talking about, and that
that was actually a company that I work with to help them change their culture into being Disney. And they said, we want to dress up and take a picture to tell everybody how excited we are about our new journey to create a magical customer experience. And I said, let's do it. And so again, we got them fired up, but they are on to bigger and better things. That business is phenomenal now, all because they just had to tweak their attitude a little bit. They had to tweak their experience. And it's not like reinventing the wheel. You don't have to start totally over, but again, if you believe in it and you want to do it, you can do anything.
Absolutely, 100%. I believe that. And, and you are always, I love this, John's Magic Minute, and, from your website, and just what it is that you are doing, because in truth, we had this discussion within our own little group on Monday, because we have what's called Magic Monday, and we were talking about what is magic. We threw the question out there. What is magic to someone? And how does that look? And what does it really mean? And I would love to hear your thought on that question, because it's something that, in truth, a lot of people, I even have my magic wand. Do I have it? Yeah. My little magic. We have our little magic things, Oh, there you go. I have one of those actually on order now. I need a better one. And so the magic wand and ta-ta, and okay, we're going to do this, and the fairy dust and all of that. But when you say magic minute, what does that mean?
Yeah. Again, it's all about the experiences, and the experiences are emotional, right? So they're based on feelings and emotions. So whether you're providing an emotional feeling to your customers, your clients, your customers, whoever you're going to deal with, whether you're providing those emotional experiences with your staff or team, it's really about the experiences. And so the Magic Minute is from my newsletter. I share a Magic Minute, something that another business has done, or give you just something that you could read in 30 seconds or 60 seconds that will help uplift you or uplift your business, whatever it might be. But if you think about what magic, no, it's not about making people disappear and, pixie dust everywhere. Okay. It's about asking yourself, if you're a business owner, you're a nonprofit, what are 3 things that you want your customers to say about you and your business? What are 3 things that you want, right? And if you're a leader, what are 3 things that I want my staff to say about me as a leader, right? And of course we want them to say positive things. So when we find out what those 3 things are, right, then we need to define the behaviors that we must do in order for them to continue to say that. So I'll give you a quick example. At Disney, we used to say things, we used to hear people say all the time, they made me and my family feel special, right? That's what that's when you go to Disney, you hear that all the time, right? So what are behaviors that Disney cast members do to demonstrate that? Well, have you ever been down Main Street and you're ready to take a picture in front of the castle, and out of nowhere comes a Disney cast member to take your picture, right? Why? Because they want to make that experience magical for you, or they'll get down on their knees and talk eye to eye to a child who's crying just to try to cheer them up, whatever it might be, right? So if you demonstrate and you do those behaviors, that's magic, because that's what you want. You want that fantasy of those things coming true, right? And if you're a leader and you want your team to say, well, John, my manager always cares, well, you have to demonstrate those behaviors, which means I'm going to walk around the office. I'm going to identify the things that you do well and let you know that. Yes, I'll coach you on the things that we want you to improve, but I'm going to tell you the things that you're doing great, right? So I can uplift your spirits. If I'm going to do that, well, more likely that my team and my coworkers and my staff will say, John's a good manager, or I'll teach them whatever it might be. So we have to demonstrate those things. So you can have a business. When I tell people, when people ask me, John, will you help us create that Disney-like culture? I go, yeah, I can help you do that. And I always ask, well, what are you doing right now? What is your culture right now? And by all means, they make it too complicated. And it doesn't have to be that complicated. Just name 3 things that you want your customers to say about you, and then go out and do those things. And it'll happen. And that's what the magic is all about. And in a nonprofit organization like you, the magic is making a difference in people's lives, right?
Yes.
No matter what you do. At Disney, yes, we made a difference in people's lives because we brought them that fantasy and that imagination and brought joy and laughter and tears to the family members and kids when they come. But every business has some sort of emotional connection. What does your product do? Maybe it's not your product that is emotional, but what is the result of your product that makes someone feel better, healthier, do things easier, be able to spend more time with family, whatever it might be. And in the nonprofit world, think of all the zillions of things that we do or you do to make people's lives better, to cope, to manage, to lift up their spirits. Gosh, who wouldn't want to work for a nonprofit, right? I want to do that, right? Because it's emotionally connected. That's the secret.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I want to also say something, and that is one of the reasons that you were nominated as a service hero today is because you actually came to the rescue for one of our dear friends of the show, that her name is showing up on the feed down there, Andrea Adams Miller, and she was telling me that she was in a pickle one time, and she put it out there on Facebook that she was in a situation that she needed some help, and you actually came to her assistance. That, in my book, I am going to say, John, is really what in my world and the way that I think is the most important thing anybody can do, is to be there truly for someone when they're in need. And I didn't want to let this show end before we really went into this, and I wanted to wait until we had a few people here with us to share this story, because this is really the why behind the why, the who behind the who. You know, who is this man, John? He's done huge things. He's worked in a huge way, and he has affected huge names and companies and corporations throughout the world. And yet, in our book around here, it's when you affect the one in a moment of need, when it really is critical, then can make all the difference when it comes to being a service hero. And you were there for Andrea Adams Miller. She had a big event to go to, and she, due to flying and travel, was without items and needed help. She put it out there on Facebook. You answered the call. Thank you for that.
Well, it was my pleasure to do that. You know, Andrea is a friend of mine that unfortunately we don't see a lot of because we're so busy. But you know, a manager or an owner or a person in philanthropy or nonprofits, you have to walk the talk. And again, it comes from your heart. And I'm grateful and blessed that to be raised by two great parents who just were givers. You know, they would do whatever they can to help people, strangers, whatever it might be. And you know, although Andrea was not a stranger, it was like, absolutely. And she says, I'm stuck in Charlotte and I don't even know how I have to, I've been sweating because I'm running through airports and I said, Andrea, I'm there, you know, and drop what we're doing. My wife made some meals and we brought it to her. I brought her some things. And again, it wasn't what I did, it's why I did it. And I did it because that's what we're here for. We're here to help serve others. And, you know, in the business world, we serve our customers. In the family world, we serve our family. In the real world, we serve each other. And we can do that. Walt, I learned it from Walt because Walt said, use the plus factor. And the plus factor is whatever you do, plus it by one, right? Just try to do this much more. And as I was thinking about helping Andrea during that time period, I'm thinking, what else can I do? All right, I can, you know, she just needs something to take a shower. All right, I can do that. But what else? She's probably hungry. So what else can I do? And if you think that way for a business, you think that way for a coworker, if you think that way for your staff, if you think that way for people in need, gosh, think about how great the business will be, but think about how great the world will be. And I'm grateful for doing it. Nothing in return. You know, you feel good when you help others. And maybe that's something that maybe it's in our genes. I don't know, but I certainly, you know, would love to do it and would do it again in a heartbeat.
And today on June the 10th, 2020, that story times billion, you know, we really need to be hearing this, and not only hearing it, is sharing the inspiration of how when you do serve another in truth, you feel so good about it. It serves your soul. And that only lifts up the energy, and it lifts up that unconditional love and service that can help so many. And right now, more than ever, we need to be serving each other. And in doing that, if we can take that attitude of gratitude, that service, and be a service hero, because we all have one inside of us. We all do. I don't care who I'm talking about. We all have that person. And if we can be doing that, a lot of things that are happening right now can turn around pretty quickly, right?
Yeah. One of my favorite mentors was the late Stephen Covey. And he said, you want to place deposits in their emotional bank account, right?
Yes.
And if we do that with our customers, if we do that with our neighbors, if we do that with our team and our coworkers, if we do that with people suffering, if we can give them something in their emotional bank account, guess what? We will get so much return on our investment down the road. And I try to preach that from a standpoint from a business. Give back to your customers. Give little extras. Go out of your way. Do those things with nothing and expect in return, but they will tell others, and loyalty will be won, and you'll have an abundance of business. But don't think short term, think long term. And it's the same thing in our emotional bank accounts. We do it from our hearts, and it will pay off, doesn't it?
Absolutely, without a question, without a doubt. And may I go even as far to say this: in the world that we live in the world that I serve in, with those that are affected by cancer, that it has been proven even scientifically, when you are giving of yourself and you are helping others to not feel alone, and you are then helping for people to feel as though they've been, that they've got a friend, a buddy, if you will, that not only their quality of life is better,
absolutely,
their life can actually be extended. And so we're not only talking about business and money and all of that, we are actually talking about, truthfully, life. And you can't get much better than that. And on that note, I actually have a surprise here that we are bringing up to the line. And hello, my dear.
Hi. Hello. I was in the swimming pool with the grandchildren, so I had to finish, let their mom come and get them so I could join you to thank you in person. So when I told Tamara why I had nominated John, not only because of what he does for the community and for businesses all around the world, but what he did for me personally as a friend of mine, she said, "Oh, can you come on and personally thank him?" And I said, "Let me see what I can make happen." So this is what happened. So John, I'm trying to remember how long ago this was. This may have been maybe 6-7 years ago. Yeah. I don't know, a long time. It's been more than a year. It's probably been 5 years or so. I actually was flying, I believe, from like LA or something, and was supposed to be in Toledo, Ohio, near my house for some kind of Oscar event where I was somehow getting an award or part of something that had to do with an award. And I had to be in an evening gown and all dressed up and all these crazy things, but there were snowstorms happening. And so there was no direct flight. That airport was closed, but my car was in Michigan. That's where I had flown out of, but I couldn't get there. So I flew to try to get to the East Coast as much as possible and ended up in his area. And actually, I remember it was kind of like when Facebook, at least for me, first started. So it might have be longer ago. And I randomly put up a post, "Hey, here I am. I have nothing with me. My luggage didn't come. I haven't showered now because I've been stuck from airport to airport in like a day and a half now, being stuck traveling. I need a shower and I need food. Does anybody have any suggestions for me?" And John and I had met before through another peer, and had been part of a mastermind together. And he reached out to me and offered to he had some meetings and stuff that day. I think your son was doing something with soccer or something.
Mhm.
And he said, let me see what I can make happen. And I had like a huge long layover. And he figured out somehow, his wife made me food, homemade food, because they didn't want me to have to eat at a restaurant again. And they brought me like shampoo and conditioner and towels and brought it to me so that I could take it into the airport area where the baggage claim was, and literally take a shower in the sink there, and then give him all that stuff back so he could take it. So at least I could show up clean. And it was funny. So then I flew into Columbus, which is 2 hours south of me, 4 hours south of my car. And my parents picked me up there with another dress and said, we'll pick you up. And then they drove me really, really fast. And I was only 20 minutes late for that award thing. And had John not done that for me, I mean, that was just amazing, because I needed an entire, I think he even brought me a razor to shave my legs. I mean, it was amazing. And the really cool part about all of that is I'm taking all of that, and he said, Andrea, do you have time? And I said, yeah, I have like 3 more hours. And he said, you're already out of the main part of the airport. Why don't you get in my car? I'll drive you to the cell phone lot. Let you eat your lunch there so you can get away from the airport. Because I slept at the airport, I think, the night before, because there wasn't anywhere to go because of the storms. And so I did. And I had such a lovely time. And he's always just been a wonderful friend. He was on my radio show years and years ago. Actually, it's quite interesting. I own an intimacy and relationship business, as well as personal and professional relationships. And I had a radio show for 13 years called Sex Talk Live. So we talked about intimacy, and John actually agreed to come on and talk about how do you handle things for like a couple who's on a honeymoon, because they have different needs for the situation, because they're for romantic means. And then how do you address that from a customer service point of view so it's tactful and professional? And it was amazing that he had that much flexibility in his ability to talk about customer service as well. So thank you, John. I wanted to thank you personally for going out of your way, leaving your son's game and everything for me. It's amazing.
Well, that's what you got to do, Andrea. But I know, good things happen to good people, and you're such a good serving heart yourself. And I know that if I was in that situation, you would have done the same for me. So thank you
Absolutely.
very much. It was great to even see you live and in person was I think one of the highlights of the day. That's for sure.
Well, thank you. And I'm going to go back now and finish drying off. The bottom half of me is still in a bathing suit.
Well, thank you for joining us, and thank you for that. I appreciate you very much, Andrea.
Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye. Uh-oh. Where did he go? Okay, I'm finding you. Just one moment. I have to find you on the line. Okay, just one moment. This is what's fun about. Here we go, bringing you back up. So actually what I'm going to do right now is, first of all, I hope that was fun to see.
It was great. It's great to see it.
Yeah. And, and you had said something, and I thought, oh, I hope she comes on, because you were saying something about time. And, this happened a few years, we determined, ago, and yet it's still relevant today. Mm-hmm. And she nominated you, and she felt inspired to tell me about that story. And I'm like, oh yeah, no, he's definitely, I want him to come on. And I didn't even know about the experience of you and who you are for your profession. I only knew that you served Andrea. And I wanted you on because of that. Because truthfully, when it comes to service, what you are doing professionally is important, absolutely. But it comes from the internal. And when you give without gain, you give when it even is a bit of a sacrifice, that shows a real leader. That shows someone that has something to share that can do like what you're doing on a worldwide basis, making a difference for companies and their experience. But you know what? Truthfully, it comes from within. And that is why when she shared with that, and then she gave me your name and I started checking, I'm like, oh, so, I just wanted you to understand how important that piece of the story was and why I brought her on for it. Because I wanted all of those that are here watching it now and will watch it in replay in whatever form to hear this piece of it. Now, I'm going to drop myself down. I'm going to give you a few moments to just address everyone with like an inspirational thought, a nugget, whatever you may feel that we need to hear right at this minute. And then I'll come back up and then we'll close out the show, okay?
Okay. So again, particularly now during the pandemic, think about what you can do from a business or a neighbor, a coworker, a friend, anybody. What can you do that will help lift up their spirits, will help them day with not expecting anything in return. It's not a this for that. It's just do it from your heart. You'll not only make them feel good, but you'll feel good. One of the things that I always share with my businesses is that we need to celebrate more. We need to go out there and celebrate our successes, and not just special occasions, just celebrate. And I do this little fun exercise where I give the audience, we have a couple of volunteers, they come on up and we give them a standing ovation. And you think about it, how much does a standing ovation cost? Nothing. But yet, not only does the people who receive the standing ovation feel an incredible uplift, but the people who give the standing ovation feel that same uplift. And that's what happens when you give back. And in any business, it's about giving back to your staff, giving back to your customers, and they will know that you care, and they will then reciprocate and get back to you to give you things, and whether it's money or referrals or whatever it might be. So, and it's the same thing with our staff. And now is the time as a business owner or even as an organization, you need to stand out. You need to stand out and show your staff and show the people in the organization that you care, because they're looking to you to see if you do care. And I read a statistic that 48% of people who work at home believe that their boss doesn't support them while working at home. And yet that's not a very good statistic, because we need to support them, knowing that maybe they have kids at home, or maybe their spouse lost their job, or there's a lot of things. So if we can empathize, put ourselves in their shoes, we realize that we're there for them. And when the time comes that we get back to normal, they will be in your corner. They will be at the front lines doing all the things that you want. So think about it. It's little things that you can do by being that thermostat, and make sure you provide the giving to your customers, giving to your staff, giving to your family, whatever it might be. That's what I call magic, and it's very, very easy to do. So I encourage you to do that. If anybody's any questions, I think I might be able to see the questions in the line there, but I'll be happy to answer a question. You can also go to my webpage, which is at johnformica.com, and go to my blog. There's lots of different articles, and you can sign up for a free newsletter. Again, I just give back to you, doing things that are free so that you can use them in your business, use them in your communities, whatever it might be. And so it's just johnformica.com, and then go to your free newsletter and get my Magic Minute. It's free. So anything else? We back?
I'm back. That couldn't have been any better. And I was just reading that there might be some bad ringing. I don't know if it's coming from me. If so, I'm sorry about it. But we are going to close now. And I want to say that I have gained so much wisdom. And you are an amazing service hero. I'm so grateful that Andrea said, Tamara, you really need to have John on, because your heart came through. And right now, on June the 10th, 2020, and on this Service Hero show, we need to see more heart, because we can make such a shift and change, and we can bring the magic back. We can bring the magic even forward and bigger and better than it's ever been. However, you sharing this information today, I believe, is going to inspire many. And I know, as in like the whole world of magic, there's a magic kingdom out there to be made different, and we can do that all together, one person at a time, one buddy at a time, one Magic Kingdom patron at a time, one cast member at a time, whatever it may be. But all of us together can make a difference throughout the
Absolutely.
world.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. It was an honor to be on your show. Keep up the great work. You're doing great things. Just keep going forward. You're changing people's lives, Tamara.
Thank you very much, John. I appreciate it. Have a great day. And everybody, it is Wednesday, so those that are in our group, What's Up Wednesday, 5 o'clock tonight, p.m. Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern. Join us in the group. We'll see you there. Bye.